Hello, my people. It's me, Bobby B, coming at you from the headquarters of the Tilt and Shift Photography Business Podcast, which is my house in Nelson, BC. I am here with you today to talk with you about the creative process. And this is one of the homework episodes that I do every so often after I have a guest. My guest in the last episode, episode 49, was Anastasia Pagonas, and she is a photographer from Arizona, currently living in Arizona, and she is the mother of Memory Cult, and she's a very successful mentor and artist and family photographer, if we could confine her by those boxes. We had a super inspiring conversation. If you haven't listened to it yet, hit pause, go back, listen to episode 49, because I'm going to riff on a couple of things that she pointed out that I think require a little further direction. Now, the point of my podcast is to talk to industry leaders about their art and their business and the moments in their business or in their lives that impacted where they are now, what shifted in their perspective that brought them to the world in which they now thrive. And for Anastasia, one of the things that she really does well in describing is her creative process. Now, for some of us, the creative process is innate and it just comes to us. Others work well with a guide or a coach. Some of us are self-motivators. Some of us like to be motivated. There is no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. Our brains are just different. And so if you're someone who loves to work with a coach or a mentor or a mentee, this episode is for you, because I'm going to take the stuff that Anastasia talked about and I'm going to create some very tangible action-based steps for you. Now, one of the things her and I really agreed on, and this is something that I know is very challenging for a lot of us, especially those of us who are maybe a little bit more on the anxious side or on the controlling side or the perfectionism side, who want to determine what the outcome should be. This is something that's going to break you out of those chains of perfectionism. And I use the phrase being paralyzed by possibility. And Anastasia said the tyranny of freedom. So a lot of us think that freedom and choice make things better or easier or less anxious or less worry because we have choice. We can choose whatever we want. And that can paralyze us as well. So what that means is that when we're given tons of choice, like when you go into a restaurant and there are literally dozens, if not 100 things on the menu, for some of us, it's really hard to choose. Other people, no problem. They love that. For some of us, it's like, where do I even start? And I hear this a lot from my students. They don't even know where to start, or they feel stagnant and they don't know what step to take. And that can come from fear of failure. That can come from fear of rejection. That can just come from fear itself. That can come from just being overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know what to do. I have, to break it down even further, I have all of these lenses. I don't know what to use. So Anastasia and I both talked about how freeing it is not to have choices. Because what that does for us mentally is that it forces us to be creative within that limitation. And again, a lot of us think that limitations are bad and limitations hinder our creativity. And I think that is a little backwards. There's a lot of freedom in being limited. The reason for that is because you've only got this one thing. What can I do with it? I can do anything with it. It can lead me to a very specific place. There's freedom in that. being able to choose what it is you do with this, just this one thing. I'm at a restaurant, there's 3 things on the menu, I just have to make one of 3 choices. For a lot of us, that's a lot more freeing than having 50 choices. So depending on which side of the coin you fall, this exercise is going to work for you regardless. So for your next session, I'm going to give you a list of limitations that you can choose one. So you do get some choice. Choose one and live by it through that entire session. Okay? No caveats, no changing your mind after you pick one. Go into the session and do that thing. If this scares the shit out of you, this is who it's for. It's for those people who are like, I could never do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you totally can. The only reason you think you can't is because you're telling yourself you can't. So next session, if you must, do a little practice run. But the danger in doing a practice run is that the stakes aren't as high. You know, if you're doing a practice run and it doesn't go the way you want it to, then you're like, oh, there's no way I'm going to do that in an actual session. I'm telling you to do it in a session because you have to rise to the challenge with these limitations. The limitations that you get to choose are as follows. Number 1, choose one lens. Just one lens and not a zoom. Zoom lens, you have all the choices that are within that zoom range. So no, you cannot choose a zoom lens. You have to choose a prime lens, okay? Whether that's a 35 or a 50 or an 85, whatever, 135, you'll be far away from your subjects. Whatever it is, pick one lens, one zoom lens, and shoot the whole session with it, okay? That's your option 1. Option 2, bring a film camera. Shoot the session on film. Whether that is a point and shoot, whether you've got a medium format camera, whatever that might be. 2 rolls of film, 1 film camera. That's all you can use. That's it. That's your limitation. Another limitation option, number 3, limit the number of exposures. Tell yourself you can only, if you have digital, you can only shoot 50 frames or 75 frames. I know a lot of us are out there coming home from an hour-long session with 300, 400 frames. You can only shoot 50, okay? Another limitation, number 4, you can only use flash. You have to use flash for everything. Well, no matter where you are, you've got to use flash. Oh, my friends, that would be so fun. Don't pick the type of session it is. Just use flash. Just see what it turns out like. And number 5 limitation is to shoot only in black and white and leave the edit as it is. So you can change your camera view to be black and white. Shoot in black and white, but do not change it into color when you're editing. Okay? So those 5 limitations, those are 5 choices that you can have or that you can use. 1 lens, 1 single prime lens for the whole session. 2 rolls of film, one film camera. 3, if you're shooting digital, limit your number of exposures. Choose a number and you have to stay below that. Number 4, shoot the whole thing using flash. Number 5, shoot and edit only in black and white. You cannot look at the color version. Okay, so the point of this, the reason for this, is for you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Learning how to be uncomfortable is such a critical skill. It's such a critical skill that many of us kind of avoid because, hey, it's uncomfortable. But the more comfortable you can get with being in discomfort, is you learn self-efficacy. You learn that, hey, actually I can do this. Hey, this is maybe this is even a little bit fun for me to be pushed to my limit and figure out how to work beyond it. You open up new skill sets, you open up new ways to have your brain working. And so by using one of these 5 limitations, you are forcing your brain to figure out new creative ways of solving a problem. And the problem is, I only have this one lens. How can I shoot with this? I can only use these 50 exposures. How do I make the most of those 50 exposures? You have to be much more thoughtful. You have to be much more mindful. Having limitations opens your mind. You have to be mindful when you have limitations. So that is my task for you. Head out with one of those 5 limitations. Let me know how it goes. And if that has piqued your interest in how your mind works in any way at all, I have a little something with you that I want to share that's coming up in August. I am hosting a inspo adventure retreat. And what it is designed to do, I've very meticulously designed this so that we spend time connecting with nature, meaning we're going to be going out hiking, we're going to be doing some stuff outdoors, we're going to be stand-up paddleboarding, we're going to be ziplining, we're going to be doing a bunch of things outdoors that you may or may not be comfortable with. But being in nature is natural to all of us. And nature is like the source of creativity. Like, we are part of nature. And if we can connect with nature, that immediately boosts our creativity. Many studies have proven how being in nature, whether it's in a city park or at the top of a remote mountain, opens up creative pathways in our brain. And so I'm designing this retreat to create that nature-based foundation. And then we are going to try forms of art that you've probably never done. I'm having 3 different artists join us to teach us their form of art. So we're going to get this expansive beauty, inspiration, motivation from being in the mountains, learning that we are capable of doing something outside of our comfort zone. And then we're going to come back to my beautiful heritage home where we're all staying together. And we're going to practice a form of art that we probably are not good at. And again, getting outside of our comfort zone, because out there is where the creativity lies. So my desire in doing this is to help people who are creatives at heart. You don't even necessarily have to be a photographer or an artist or consider yourself an artist. Just someone who wants to be more creative. Maybe you've been a photographer for a long time and that's the only art form that you do. Or perhaps you are someone who loves being outdoors, but you don't really actually spend much time exploring, meaning you don't go places that you haven't been before. So we're going to do some exploring. Maybe you're someone who kind of avoids trying new things. And maybe the reason behind that avoiding of trying new things is that you just don't want to do it wrong. And there's a lot of us who are perfectionists. And if we have a chance of doing something wrong, we just don't do it. And as creatives, that absolutely stifles our creativity. So we're going to do some things that you're going to be bad at. We're going to do some things that are going to make you really uncomfortable. Even if you don't want to not do it wrong, you're going to do some things wrong, and we're going to work through that together. If you're someone who thinks deeply about a lot of stuff, particularly the stuff that I talk about on this podcast, but you lack the community to share what's on your mind and some of the struggles, this retreat, there's going to be 5 of us, myself, and 4 of you, and we're going to be spending 4 days together, very intensive days, and we're going to be sharing all of what we're going through, all of the evolution that we're experiencing, all of the mind-bending, heart-opening, perspective shifting stuff. We're going to share it all together, which makes it a lot easier and a lot more fulfilling. Or if you're someone who's kind of you feel like you're sort of missing out on something, or you've been doing things the same way for a long time and it's going good, or maybe it isn't, but you just getting outside that comfort zone is a challenge. So maybe even this whole podcast so far has been like, if it's making you feel a little bit like, oh God, I don't know if I could do that. This retreat is for you. This retreat is for you. That exercise about limiting those 5 limitations that I've given you, those are for you, my friend. They are meant to open up your brain, open your mind, give you growth within limitations, because those limitations are not real. What I mean by that is sometimes we feel like we're limited. And all that is, those limitations, my friends, those limitations are just your comfort zone. And we do a lot of things in this world to make ourselves comfortable. I think our whole DNA is kind of geared around finding comfort. But we are comfortable, everyone. We're comfortable. We live in houses. We have rules and regulations that keep us safe. We're comfortable. And that is absolutely stifling our creativity. That's why being in different environments, like let's say you go traveling and you're inspired to pick up your camera in a different way. The reason that is, like traveling as an example, is inspiring is because everything is new and we're outside of our zone of comfort. We're in places that our brain doesn't really recognize. We don't know what to do with it. And so that sparks creativity. I hope you're seeing that through line, that being uncomfortable creates creativity. All right? So I hope this has motivated you. I hope it's inspired you. I hope it has given you some limitations to play with in your work. And if you are interested in learning more about my retreat, there is a sign up link in the show notes. Just click on that and you can start getting the emails of the details as they come out. So as always, feel free to reach out to me either on Instagram or via my website. All of those links are in the show notes. And have a wonderful day working outside your comfort zone, my friend.